Not every smile is genuine. Some celebrate your wins, while secretly wishing for your downfall. It's easy to believe that success brings admiration, praise, and support. But the truth is, it often awakens something far darker in others: envy. And the most dangerous kind isn't loud or obvious. It's quiet. It hides behind polite words, forced smiles, and fake congratulations. Envy doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers behind your back. It smiles at you, but it sharpens the knife when you're not looking. You might not even notice it at first. Things seem normal. Friendly conversations, casual remarks, everyday interactions. But slowly, something starts to feel off. The energy shifts. The compliments don't feel sincere anymore. The laughter feels empty, and deep down you can sense it. Someone around you doesn't want you to rise. They want you to trip, to fail, to fall. Not because you've wronged them, but because your success reminds them of their own shortcomings. Your light makes their shadows more obvious. Envy is a silent poison. It works in the background, corroding relationships, twisting words, and turning friends into silent rivals. And the scariest part? The people who envy you most might never admit it. They might act like they care. They might pretend to support you. But their actions, if you look closely, tell a different story. They'll mask their jealousy with sarcasm. They'll downplay your achievements. They'll quietly root for your mistakes. And if you're not paying attention, you might mistake them for friends. That's why it's so important to recognize the signs. Not because you should walk through life in fear or paranoia, but because awareness gives you strength. When you understand how envy works, how it hides, how it spreads, you protect yourself. You stay focused, you learn who's truly with you, and who's only standing close enough to watch you fall. There are 5 clear signs that someone is envious of your success. Each one reveals more than just jealousy. It shows intention. Some will try to confuse you. Others will attempt to isolate you, and some in the darkest corners of their mind will want to become you. The first sign may seem harmless on the surface, but underneath, it carries the sharp edge of a hidden agenda. Let's begin. It often starts small. A little joke. A strange compliment. Something that feels almost nice but not quite. It lingers in your mind like a splinter. You tell yourself not to overthink it. Maybe they were just having a bad day. Maybe it was a joke. But the truth is, the first real sign that someone is envious of your success often comes in the form of a backhanded compliment. It's when someone says something that sounds like praise, but if you really listen, it's actually a subtle insult. It's their way of throwing shade without making it obvious. It's poison wrapped in praise. These comments usually come with a smile, sometimes even a laugh, but they hit differently. Things like, "Wow, I wish I had time to work on side projects like you. Must be nice to have that kind of freedom." Or, "Oh, you got promoted? Good for you. I guess it's all about being in the right place at the right time." On the surface, it sounds polite, but underneath it's sharp. It doesn't uplift you. It makes you question yourself. It makes your hard work feel like luck. It makes your sacrifices seem easy. It turns your achievements into flukes. That's the gay. Envious people want to undermine your confidence without looking like the bad guy. They'll coat their jealousy in dry humor or sarcasm so that if you ever call it out, you look overly sensitive. It's psychological warfare dressed up as conversation. They want you to second-guess yourself, to feel guilty for winning, to shrink yourself just a little, so they can feel a little taller standing next to you. Pay attention to the tone they use. It's rarely warm or sincere. There's a tightness in their smile, a coldness behind their eyes. Sometimes they won't even make eye contact when they say it, or they'll laugh just a little too hard, like they're trying to make a joke at your expense. Their words might sound light, but the energy behind them always feels off. You leave the interaction feeling a little smaller, a little more unsure, even if you can't explain why. This behavior usually comes from deep insecurity. When someone feels like they're not doing enough, or that they're being left behind, your progress becomes a mirror. Instead of facing their own lack of effort or ambition, they lash out sideways. They can't attack you directly, so they do it indirectly, with clever comments, fake jokes, and undercutting praise. It's not really about you. It's about what your success makes them feel. And that feeling is uncomfortable. The dangerous part is, backhanded compliments are easy to brush off. We don't want to seem confrontational or paranoid, so we smile, laugh along, and pretend it didn't sting. But over time, those tiny stabs add up. They chip away at your self-esteem. They plant seeds of doubt. And if you're not careful, you start to internalize them. You start to wonder if maybe they're right. Maybe you did just get lucky. Maybe you don't deserve the credit. That's why it's important to set boundaries. You don't need to start a fight or call anyone out publicly, but you can protect your energy. If someone constantly makes these kinds of remarks, limit how much personal information you share with them. You don't owe everyone access to your life. You can respond to their comments with confidence. Actually, I worked really hard for this. Or, yes, I've made sacrifices most people don't see. Let your calm, firm tone be your shield. Envy thrives on your discomfort. Don't give it power. And if someone repeatedly crosses the line, it's okay to create distance. Not out of anger, but out of self-respect. You don't have to keep people close just because they pretend to support you. Watch how they act when you're winning. That's when their true nature comes out. Some people will clap for you until they realize you're going further than they ever did. And that realization can turn admiration into resentment. But this is just the beginning. Backhanded compliments are only the surface-level mask. As envy grows deeper, it becomes bolder. The next sign takes things a step further. It's no longer just about small digs or sarcastic remarks. It becomes a strategy. One where they begin to chip away at your relationships, your reputation, and your sense of belonging. And most of the time, you won't even see it coming. But envy doesn't stay subtle for long. After the backhanded compliments fail to shake your confidence, it evolves into something louder, more direct. The second sign begins to show itself when they start discrediting your success altogether. You'll hear it in little phrases that sound harmless, but carry a heavy weight. You just got lucky. Anyone could have done that. Right place, right time. These aren't casual comments, they're calculated. Because deep down they can't handle the truth. That you earned your place through hard work, patience, and sacrifice. So instead of respecting the journey they try to erase it. They reduce your discipline to coincidence, your effort to chance. And it's not because your achievements don't matter. It's because they matter too much. Your progress holds up a mirror, and they don't like what they see. If they admit that you got where you are because of your dedication, it forces them to confront their own lack of it. That's a bitter pill to swallow. So instead they convince themselves and try to convince others that you didn't really earn it. That what you have isn't skill, it's luck. That your win was random, not deserved. This kind of behavior doesn't just sting in the moment. It slowly chips away at the foundation of trust in your relationships. You start second-guessing the people around you. Are they truly happy for me? Do they actually believe in me? It creates emotional distance. You find yourself pulling back, being more careful with what you share. And that's exactly what envy wants, to isolate you from your support system, while it continues to work in the background. History shows us how common this pattern is. There have always been people who couldn't stand to see others rise. In ancient courts, talented advisors were often sabotaged by jealous rivals whispering lies into the king's ear. Artists, inventors, and thinkers were mocked, rejected, or even betrayed. Not because their work lacked value, but because others couldn't tolerate their brilliance. Even in today's world, you'll find stories of co-workers taking credit for someone else's project, or friends who disappear the moment recognition arrives. The names change, but the behavior stays the same. Envy doesn't age. It just finds new ways to speak. And what makes this so dangerous is the dual face of the envious person. In public, they might still cheer for you. They might like your posts, shake your hand, or stand in your photos. But behind closed doors, they plant seeds of doubt. They suggest you didn't really do much. They downplay your grind. They tell others it was all timing, or connections, or luck. Slowly, they try to shape the narrative, not to honor your story, but to write you out of it. They want others to question your worth. And more than that, they want you to question it too. Because the moment you start doubting yourself is the moment they feel powerful again. That's what this is really about. Control. If they can't rise above you, they'll try to drag you down to their level. It's not competition, it's sabotage. So how do you respond to someone like this? With calm truth. Not anger, not defense, just truth. If someone says, "You just got lucky," you can answer, "I worked hard for this, and I'm proud of it." Keep your voice steady. Your confidence unsettles them, because it reminds them of what they lack. You don't need to argue, you don't need to prove anything. The best response to someone who tries to minimize your journey is to keep going. Let your actions speak, louder than their bitterness ever could. If they try to steal credit for your ideas, document your work. Be clear about what you've done. Protect your efforts, not because you're paranoid, but because you're wise. Envy plays dirty. It twists kindness into weakness. So stay kind, but stay aware. Real support doesn't question your value. Real friends don't compete with you in secret. And here's the truth. When someone constantly tries to discredit your achievements, it's not about your success. It's about their pain. Your progress hurts them because it reminds them they've stayed still. But you are not responsible for their healing. You're responsible for your growth. Don't shrink just because someone else refuses to rise. But what happens when their words stop working? When you keep moving forward no matter what they say, that's when things take a darker turn. Because if they can't discredit your work, they'll try something else. They'll start isolating you, cutting off your support, turning others against you, and creating a space where you begin to feel alone at the top. And that's where the real danger begins. And when discrediting your achievements no longer slows you down, envy changes its shape once again. It grows darker, colder, and more calculating. Now it seeks to isolate you, because if they can't break your confidence directly, they'll try to break the world around you, bit by bit. This is when envy becomes manipulation. They move in shadows, never confronting you head-on. Instead, they whisper behind your back. They twist your words, exaggerate your flaws, and spread subtle rumors. It's not loud or obvious. It's quiet, careful, designed to make others doubt you without even realizing why. They fear your growing influence, your rising presence, the respect you're starting to earn. And so they don't attack you. They attack your relationships. They go to people who like you, trust you, and plant small seeds of doubt. Did you notice how she always needs to be the center of attention? I'm not saying he's fake, but something feels off lately. These phrases aren't accusations, they're traps, meant to sound concerned, innocent. But their only purpose is to turn allies into doubters. This tactic has a name: triangulation. It's when someone creates tension between two people by controlling what each side hears. Instead of talking to you directly, they talk about you to others. They paint a picture of you that isn't real, and they do it so gradually that others don't notice the manipulation. One day, someone stops replying to your messages. Another day, a friend seems colder, more distant. You haven't changed, but the story they've been fed about you has. And make no mistake, this is social sabotage. It's not accidental. It's not a misunderstanding. It's envy trying to erase your support system because it can't erase you. They'd rather see your reputation fall apart than face their own inadequacy. To them, your success feels like an insult. And so they twist the truth. They talk sweetly to your face and cruelly behind your back. They laugh with you in public and roll their eyes when you're gone. They may even pretend to defend you while actually fueling the fire. This is the hidden knife, envy's favorite weapon. It avoids open war. It stabs when you're not looking. But how do you know it's happening? There are always signs. You'll sense a shift in energy. People who once supported you begin to act strange. Conversations grow shorter. Invitations disappear. You feel like you're being watched, judged without knowing why. And sometimes you'll hear the whispers reach you in broken form. A strange comment, a false assumption, a repeated lie. That's when you'll know. Someone has been writing your story for you. So how do you protect yourself from something you can't see? You don't fight rumors with more noise. You fight them with presence, with clarity. You stay calm. You observe. You don't play their game because the game is designed to trap you. Instead, you remain silent until the moment requires truth. And then you speak simply and clearly. No anger, no desperation, just honesty. Because a lie may spread quickly, but truth has patience. It waits, it watches, and in time, it outlasts everything false. Be vigilant, not paranoid. Watch the shifts in behavior. Who is consistent and who changes when your light starts to shine brighter. True allies will remain. Pretenders will show themselves eventually. And when they do, let them go. Don't chase them. Don't try to explain yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. Let your actions speak for themselves. You don't owe your energy to every critic. Philosophers have long understood this pattern. Envy doesn't attack with honor. It sneaks, it poisons, it whispers until the target feels alone. Because isolation is where envy believes it can finally win. But here's what envy forgets. The truth is quiet, but it doesn't disappear. Lies may circle like wolves, but they cannot devour a person who knows who they are. Stay grounded, stay awake, and above all, stay you. Still, envy doesn't stop here. When the whisper campaigns fail, when you refuse to break or bend, it escalates again. Now it starts to act. It moves from talk to action. Because when words no longer work, envy begins to sabotage. When envy moves beyond words and whispers, it takes on a far more dangerous form. Now, it becomes subtle sabotage, a quiet force working behind the scenes to make you stumble. This isn't about accidental mistakes or simple carelessness. No, this is calculated. People who envy you might pretend to offer help or advice, but what they really do is lead you wrong. They might withhold important information you need to succeed, or set traps disguised as support, hoping to watch you fail or embarrass yourself. These are not accidents. They are carefully planned moves meant to break you down without anyone else noticing. Why would someone go to such lengths? Because when envy grows deep, it is not just about jealousy. It becomes bitter resentment. They don't just want to be better. They want to stop you from being better. Sometimes it's easier for them to tear down what you have built than to build something themselves. Your success becomes a painful reminder of their own struggles and disappointments. Each win you celebrate feels to them like a personal failure, and that pain can push them to act in ways that are harmful and cruel. It's important to recognize the signs of this sabotage before it gets out of control. Watch for strange inconsistencies, like advice that always seems to backfire or help that comes at the worst possible time. Pay attention to convenient mistakes that cause delays or confusion, especially when they happen repeatedly or when someone is involved. If someone frequently shows up at the last minute with solutions that create more problems, be cautious. These are often the subtle traps envy sets to make you lose your footing. History is full of stories like this. Great artists, business leaders, and inventors have all faced betrayal from those they trusted, people who tried to keep them down out of envy. Some had key information hidden from them just when they needed it most. Others were pushed into situations where failure was almost guaranteed. These stories remind us how real and painful this kind of envy can be. It isn't always loud or obvious, but its effects are powerful. The best way to face this is with a calm and steady mind. The Stoics teach us to stay alert but not reactive, to observe carefully without jumping to anger or suspicion. When you sense subtle sabotage, don't rush to fight fire with fire. Instead, stay focused on your own path. Keep your plans clear and your mind open. Don't let the hidden traps distract or discourage you. Let your success be your answer, not the chaos they try to create. But envy doesn't stop here. When subtle, sabotage fails to break your spirit, it can turn even darker. The final sign is its darkest form, an outright attack designed to destroy you. And that is where we must look next. When envy reaches its darkest point, it takes on a strange and unsettling form, mimicry and obsession. At first, it might seem like a compliment when someone copies your style, your words, or even your ideas. Maybe they dress like you, talk like you, or try to repeat your successes as if they're following your footsteps. But this isn't admiration. It's something much deeper and more troubling. This kind of copying is a form of identity theft. It shows envy at its psychological peak, where the person no longer just wishes to be better, they want to become you. They don't want to stand beside you or celebrate your achievements. They want to replace you entirely. This obsession can get unhealthy and even frightening. You might notice someone following your every move, mimicking your expressions, your opinions, or your habits so closely that it feels like they are trying to erase their own identity and become a shadow of you. This can happen with friends, co-workers, and even family members, people you thought you knew. Their focus shifts from their own life to yours. They watch you carefully, waiting for chances to outdo you or copy you, and sometimes both. They enter a competitive cycle that never ends, always trying to one-up you, but never able to create anything truly original themselves. The envious mind, at this stage, loses the ability to create. It can only imitate and quietly try to destroy what it cannot have. It's a painful cycle fueled by insecurity and fear of being left behind. The Stoic philosophy gives us a strong response here. Don't explain, don't defend, just do. When faced with someone obsessed with copying you, the best protection is to stay focused on your own path. Don't waste energy trying to prove who you are. Your work, your character, and your spirit are the true measures of your identity. In today's world, protecting your identity is more important than ever. Whether online, in your business, or through your ideas, guard what makes you unique. Be aware of those who might try to steal your voice or take credit for your hard work. The more secure you are in yourself, the less power they have to unsettle you. Remember, you inspire what they cannot control. Your success and your truth shine in ways that imitation can never reach. This final sign of envy shows us just how far someone might go when driven by jealousy. But it also reminds us of a powerful truth. No matter how hard others try, they cannot take away what makes you truly yours. And with that in mind, let's move toward the final message, where we'll explore how to protect yourself and rise above envy for good. We've now seen the 5 signs that reveal when someone is quietly wishing for your failure. First, there's the hidden jealousy masked by fake smiles. Then comes the way they try to take away your hard-earned success, saying you just got lucky. After that, envy spreads into gossip and isolation, turning your friends into doubters. When it deepens further, subtle sabotage shows up. False advice, withheld help, or traps set to make you stumble. Finally, the darkest form of envy appears as obsession and mimicry, where someone tries to become a copy of you because they can't stand being in your shadow. But understanding these signs isn't about living in fear or paranoia. It's about staying alert and protecting yourself with clear eyes and a calm heart. Most people who envy you will reveal their true colors over time, so you don't have to confront them all at once. Instead, watch and learn. Envy always says more about the person feeling it than the one it targets. It shows their weaknesses and struggles, not your worth or value. The Stoic way teaches us to stay detached, to see clearly without reacting too quickly or emotionally. This clarity brings strength. You don't have to fight every battle or prove yourself to those who try to bring you down. Let your success and character speak louder than their doubts and jealousy. As the saying goes, your light will irritate those who live in darkness. Shine anyway. If you've noticed any of these signs around you, take a moment to think about which one appears the most. Feel free to share in the comments. Your story might help someone else see what's really going on. Remember, not everyone clapping for you is truly cheering you on. Some are quietly waiting for you to fall. Stay wise, stay strong, and keep moving forward.